my job.
This here,
We're still remote.
up here. Your local whereabouts?
What's going on? Not bad. Let's see, get one.
She done time.
Your God. God.
Make sure you call me. Call me. And they check it. They say I didn't get my personal job, man, but I didn't get signed. Just something that I have out all the time. I don't have time. They ain't playing now.
They ain't got nothing to do.
Take their money.
Right. Chair will call this July 18, 2023 regular call board meeting to order. Mr. Dawson, has the public been duly notified? And I do quorum. I like to state for the record that Mrs. Renee Green called and she's out of town on business. The chair will entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion, we enter executive session for personnel matters and contractual matters related to the superintendent search.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Mr. Davis. All in favor, show by raising of the right hand. That will be 6-0. I just like to state that we were going into executive session for a personnel reason. I'm not going to put a time limit on it today. Just that we'll be back as soon as possible. Thank you.
I can get on that, it's time off, I might be okay. Otherwise, I'm on the program, they want us. All right. I guess that's okay.
Days over.
Yeah.
You all have a good evening.
All right, yeah, see you.
Thank y'all.
All teachers, see. Good luck, y'all.
All right.
So you said that's about the calculator.
Yeah, this week.
We just, they just got that from, Sunday. We had over 3,000 in attendance.
And that's not go out with breakfast.
And then we go to town for camping 25.
Baby time. Oh, I'm good. Cocoa popping that. Sure, the entertaining motion come out of executive session. No actions were taken.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we exit executive session with no actions taken.
Second such motion.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris. Come out of executive session. With no action taken, all in favor, show by raising the right hand. That would be 6-0. Right. I just want to welcome everyone to this, our listeners out there, and thank you for supporting our Fairfield County School District. It means a lot to us, from all the way from the superintendent all the way down to our teachers, students, being able to support us. At this time, we will have the pledge allegiance in a moment of silence, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
This time we will approve our 2023 July 18th regular call board meeting agenda. Can we get a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Second such motion.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris to receive the agenda, approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. That would be 6-0. Mr. Chairman, do we have any public comment, Mr. Seals? No, we don't. Okay. We're gonna move down to our board minutes. We did a motion to receive our June 13th regular call board meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the minutes from the June 13 regular call board meeting.
Second such motion.
Motion made by Ms. Harris to approve the superintendent recommendation to receive our board minutes of June 13th, second by Dr. Harris. All in favor, show by raising of the right hand. That would be 6-0. At this time, we will have our superintendent report.
Chairman Miller, members of the board, the summer is quickly coming to an end. Teachers will be returning July 26th.
Yes, sir.
Just week after next.
Yes, sir.
And so we are very excited to welcome our staff back to prepare to welcome our young scholars back. The first day for students will be August the 2nd. And I know that is a little earlier than what we have been accustomed to over the last several years. But as you remember, as we have transitioned to this modified balance calendar, we do return a little earlier, but in exchange, we have a couple of intercession breaks during the course of the year. That has been very, very popular with faculty and staff and students as well. I tell people that teachers need a break during the year to bring it up a bit. And our students need a break during the year to bring it up a bit. And so as much as teachers said that I enjoyed that break from students, I want to remind them students enjoyed that break from us as well. And so that's why everyone is excited about this modified balance calendar. If you come down 221 over the last week or so, you see trees moving, excited about the teacher housing initiative. And this has been a very long journey. I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for your patience and your dedication and your commitment to seeing this through. I know there were some out there who probably were a bit skeptical as to whether this would ever happen. Pastor Jackson, I can tell you the number of times I've had people ask me, when are we going to move forward with this teacher housing proposal that you all have been talking about for so long? And I said, well, it's coming. Just be patient, it's coming. And so we were finally at that point in time. And so they're currently doing the infrastructure work right now, which is primarily clearing the land, preparing for all the water lines and electrical lines, and sewer lines, and all of the things that relate to all of the work underground. Okay. And then once we finish with the infrastructure work, we'll be moving to what you call the vertical construction, which is the actual building of the home. It is always kind of a guesstimate in terms of how long the infrastructure work will take, because you don't ever, 100% sure what you encounter under the ground. All right, you make some predictions about what you will, but you're not 100% sure. And so the timeline that we received from the engineers is that they anticipate they ought to be able to get through infrastructure work, I think, in about 3 or 4 months. Okay, maybe 5 months, depending if all goes well. And so we're optimistic that will go smoothly. And as soon as the infrastructure work is complete, then you'll start to see vertical construction to begin. We hope to be able to build initially between 15 and 20 homes in this first phase. There will be 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. There are 2 separate models, and I can't remember the square footage off the top of my head, but one is a 2-story model, which is a little larger than the single-story model. And as you can imagine, the 2-story model will be a little more to rent than the single-story model. We are still pursuing some grant opportunities. Mr. Miller said on last night that early part of August, there's going to be a press conference with United Way announcing a grant that the foundation is receiving specifically for this Fairfield housing project. We are pursuing some other grant opportunities that we've not heard a decision on, but I anticipate that there will be some additional funding that comes our way as a function of this project finally moving forward. When I was in Williamsburg, Virginia, with superintendents from all over the country this past week, we had an opportunity to share some exciting things going on in your district. And I shared this housing initiative And I had multiple people come to me after I shared it and said, we have been talking about trying to do something like that, but we hadn't quite figured out how to make it happen. And so we are going to closely watch what's going on in Fairfield and see if we can replicate. And I'm not talking about just people from South Carolina who are watching it. I'm talking about people from Michigan, people from Pennsylvania. I mean, people all over the country are watching what we're doing right here in rural Fairfield County. So it is great to be at the cutting edge of doing something that I think is going to be transformative in education, particularly in rural communities. You know, I said to Mr. Miller jokingly one day that some people follow trends and some people start trends. That's the reality of it. And very often when you are trying to start something that has not been really done before, particularly in a large scale, there are multiple skeptics. But you embrace that because that's a part of any kind of innovation to do something new and cutting edge. That there will be some who say no one has ever done it, but someone has to be first. Okay, and so it gives me great pleasure to say that Fairfield County will be the first, particularly in South Carolina and quite honestly throughout this country, who are pulling something off like this. It is going to get lots of attention. So I thank you for all of your support. And for teachers out there who've been waiting on it, we are finally here. We'll start the process very soon of accepting application. I suspect that we will have a list of people who are interested in moving into these homes. And so we have a priority to determine who will get preference. As you can imagine, you would need to develop some kind of system if you had 20 homes and 50 people to determine how you prioritize who got first dibs. And so we'll be advertising that very soon. As the school season begins, then we know it's football season as well. All right, and so I had an opportunity to ride by the high school today, and the football team, varsity, and I think DB as well, we're doing a 7-on-7 with Union County School. And so they are preparing for the next season and looking good, if I may say so. We will participate in a jamboree on August the 11th, so put that on your calendar. Initially, this jamboree was going to be at Chapin High School. It is Chapin's and McKay Kickoff Classic that we played in on last year. But Chapin is doing some renovations of their stadium, so they have asked if we could host it in Fairfield. And so I think it's almost a done deal that we will host the Chapin High School and the McKay Kickoff Classic at the Fairfield Central High School football stadium on August the 11th. We will play the last game of the night, which should happen somewhere around 9 o'clock. And I think we will play Chapin High School in January. So there'll be an opportunity to come to the Griffins Den for their Chapin Kickoff Classic this year. So very excited about the new school year. As I say always, we're going to accomplish some things that we never imagined that we could. Last year was an absolutely remarkable year. It's hard to imagine how we could have, we can outpace some of the things that happened last year. But I am absolutely certain that we will. I'll tell you, I've already begun to review some of the preliminary, well, not even preliminary, now it's finalized, and I can't share it with you yet because it's still embargoed. But some of our summative assessment data, and it was a good year. I mean, I commended some of the principals on their success at growing young scholars in Fairfield County, and when Dr. Avery and her team present the data, you'll see exactly what I was talking about. Our students are doing an excellent job, working hard. Our staff is doing an excellent job preparing our students, and our leaders are doing an excellent job of developing a vision and creating an atmosphere where success can absolutely thrive. And so I commend everyone who played a part in that. You know, Mr. Dixon told me when they were taking the assessment that there were some students who took almost a whole day working on their assessments last spring. And while you don't know how that's going to, result in actual success, the fact that you are taking that much time says that you're invested in doing well. And very often people who work in education know if a young person isn't really invested in doing well, they just roll box up down and move on to lunch. But the fact that these young people are really taking their time and showing that they put their best foot forward, I could almost tell you we were going to see some tremendous growth. Because when you can get them invested in doing well, we were going to see some success. So it was a great year last year. We're going to have an even better year this year. And so we're looking forward to a wonderful 2023, 2024. Are there any questions that I asked?
Yeah, Doc, I got a question.
Yeah.
I know you get time for doing the infrastructure underneath.
Yeah.
What type of time you have on completion of the house?
Yeah. So Mr. Miller, we anticipate by next summer, by the time teachers are ready to return for the 2024, 2025 school year, houses will be ready to roll.
Okay.
Okay. So before then, houses will be ready. And so teachers who will be returning to Fairfield County School District year after next, 24, 25, can expect to have an opportunity to stay in one of the houses that's being constructed.
The only reason I say that, Doc, is because we sign leases.
Oh, yeah.
And so they can get out of their lease. Yeah. So they don't have to sign another lease. Once you sign that lease, they got it.
And so, Mr. Miller, we would anticipate that we would provide leases for people to sign probably by the beginning of the summer, long before they would move in. So they could be assured that they had the opportunity to move there before they forego signing.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Green,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm excited too, and I'm glad to let people know that we are starting. I got so many phone calls about that. So I am extremely excited about the project, and it's been several years since we went up to Fairfield, North Carolina, and how it's coming, So yeah, so I'm excited, and also I know you talked about football and everything, kids get ready to start. We also know it's extremely hot. So with that being said, I hope that they know to stay hydrated. I see so many of them out there running and with the shirts off. I don't know if they know the danger of not having something on your skin with the heat. That always concerns me when I see young people doing that, because I don't think they understand. But I just want everybody to be safe and stay hydrated because it is extremely hot out there.
Ms. Harrison, you bring up an excellent point, and sometimes our young 15, 16, 17-year-old young men think they're iron and invincible, and don't worry about eating, don't worry about drinking. I mean, I'm gonna be fine. And so you're right. We have to continue to stay on them. That you have to eat properly, you have to hydrate yourself properly, and when you feel as if your body is a little off, then take some time to just rest and relax. At one point in time, we taught young people, you just fight through it, and don't worry about that. But now safety is much more of a priority. We even do something throughout the high school league now called wet bulb test, which really measures the temperature outdoors to determine whether it's safe for young people to be out there. And so, and I don't know the specifics, Ms. Harrison, but if the temperature gets to a certain point, then they are obligated to shut it down for a while. Okay, and so coaches are aware that they have to monitor things to a much greater extent than they did when you were at the best day. Worried about.
But even when I was in service, when I was in basic training, I was in San Antonio, Texas. I mean, we talk hot.
Yeah.
And there was a certain time they come across the loudspeaker for everybody to hear. The temperature is now 104 HSI, whatever that means, everything. The temperature and the humidity is the same thing. All outdoor activities will cease immediately. And you have to go inside. So I'm glad to see everything
Yeah, we are on top of that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's weird. Anybody else? More than that? Question about the green. I have this one question. Harry coming up with heat. So how are we coming with our capital project for as our application?
Yeah.
And, we will be online, we get the call from the parents.
So answer the question. So Pastor, Mr. Miller, Train was out at McCoy Liston yesterday. Train is at McCoy Liston, I think, again today. They're trying to finish up the installation of all the units at McCoy Liston. The gym units are not in yet. They have indicated that the gym units should be in about the 1st of August, somewhere thereabout. So they should get those installed in the gym. They should be moving on to finish the units at Fairfield Central High School, Fairfield Elementary School. I think Egan has some units. And so they have tentatively told us they should get those units done, with the exception of the gym, before students return. Okay, they said the gym units won't be done before students return on the 2nd, but most of the others should be. Now, prayerfully, you all will approve the capital project proposal that's in board docs today, which provide us an opportunity to replace some additional. And so, we have some units in this district that are 30 years old, and some are running good, but you don't want necessarily wait out the hands until they fall down and be replaced. You want to be proactive, right? And so once you start having a little problem here or there, as I told the maintenance director and the heat and air condition, when we start to see we're having problems with the unit, it's just like problems with your car. All right. And so you got a 30-year-old car and this went out, now that went out. You don't need to wait till everything goes out. You're going to hit a curve. So I'm telling you, let's go ahead and start putting that on the list to replace. Now, even though you all have done a masterful job of dedicating resources, we got to get trained to do a little bit more timely in terms of getting these units to us. And so I know that they have people all over the country requesting units, but I remind you in the community who said, well, you all need to put the money towards replacing units. The board has done that, okay? And we've done what we're supposed to do in terms of ordering the units, because the units that are being installed now were ordered, I think, probably in September, if my memory serves me correctly, somewhere around September last year. And we are just getting some of those installed. So it has been quite the ordeal to get those units replaced. And, we're going to continue to have some conversations with Train. I mean, that is a vendor that we have, we're pleased with their product, but being pleased with the product, that means much if you can't put them in the facility. All right. And so we need to be able to get them installed. So I'm optimistic we're going to be able to work that out. And hopefully by the time students and teachers return, most of our issues will be resolved. Yeah.
What about, did you fully get all the security issues taken care of?
You mean cameras and what issues you talking about?
The infrastructure that we talked about.
Oh yeah. So I mean, as relates to the word I'm thinking about, but the door locks and the entry points, I can't remember the exact wording for that, Pastor Jackson. In terms of the metal detectors, all of those have been installed. Mr. Franklin said he's already requested some additional cameras so we can monitor some of the areas a little better. I shared with you in a text message that we had a few vandalism issues at Fairfield Elementary School. And unfortunately, we didn't have cameras in place to really identify who those individuals were, but we are getting that resolved. And so Mr. Frank has already brought a proposal for multiple upgrades as relates to our security system. So that's a constantly evolving thing. So we never quite get where we want to be because we're constantly evaluating and thinking about how we can improve the system. And so it's not necessarily a destination, but a process. Okay, but we always think about how we can create an even safer environment.
Yeah, because the reason I asked about this, I'm glad you said you did, being constantly involved, and not like the COVID, after a while you get an handle on that, and you kind of feel pretty good about how to handle that. But these things keep changing, folks still shooting people. Seems like it's getting worse, every time you turn the TV on, somebody just got shot. And so it seems like folks on full steam with that. So we full steam for protecting.
Absolutely.
For business, for business.
We know Dallas Jackson, I always say the most important thing that we do as a school district is send somebody's child home the same way they send them.
That's right.
More important than anything else, I don't care about reading, write, arithmetic, we gotta first send them back home the same way they send them here. Okay? And so we have to put that as a priority. And so safety has always been number one, and it will remain number one.
Can I say, she needs to hear us when we speaking, cause you talk, yeah, turn this way, and she can't really hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And finally, there are no other questions. Let me say publicly, I want to offer Mr. Davis our thoughts as his son has had a medical emergency earlier today. He's home resting well, but I'm sure that's on Mr. Davis's mind, but he'll continue to be in our thoughts and prayer, Brother Davis, as he works with his medical job. Thank you.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's time, Dr.
Good evening.
Really?
For your approval are some updates to the 2023-2024 modified balanced academic calendar. And I want to bring to your attention some recommendations from the administration. And again, these are just some updates that we're requesting approval for on the approved calendar that was approved back in January of this year. The district convocation and the professional development day for teachers will take place on Friday, July 28, 2023, instead of Monday, July 31st. Professional development will take place on Monday, July 31st, 2023, instead of Friday, July 28th. And then graduation will take place on Saturday, June the 1st, 2024, instead of Friday, May 31st, 2024. And these changes are based on some recommendations brought forward to us from administration, especially regarding graduation. They felt like it was more conducive for our families and for the community for the graduation to continue to be held on the Saturday.
You need a motion. You get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to the specified changes to the 23-24 modified balanced academic calendar.
Yes, sir. Second, motion made by Ms. Harris, second by Pastor Jackson. Accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the 23-24 modified balanced academic calendar on January 17, 2023. Following changes recommended by the 2024 modified balanced academic calendar. All in favor, show by raising of the right hand. That would be 6. Go ahead, Dr. Davis.
The second item for your approval is the second and final reading of policy EBCB, safety plans and drills. And this particular policy, which was referenced at the last board meeting, this policy has been in place since 1997. And since then, there has been a review of this particular policy by the South Carolina Department of Education and the South Carolina State Fire Marshal. And they conducted a review of our policy and felt that we needed to, of course, update the specific policy. The draft that is labeled in board docs as revised final has been reviewed by our staff attorney. And based on the recommendations from the attorney, these suggestions have been incorporated into the final and revised copy. That is the third bullet in board docs. And one of the biggest things that the attorney suggested was that we, of course, make the policy a little bit more broad as far as not listing specific things, so that we would have some level of opportunity and flexibility to make changes as we go forward with this policy. So this policy, the second and final reading for policy EBCB, safety plans and drills, is for your final approval.
Can we get a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve revision to board policy EBCD, safety drills and issue 197. These revisions are in accordance with the South Carolina Code and 59-17-160, the South Carolina Department of Education and the South Carolina State Fire Marshal. They administer the review process for school districts, fire and safety policies.
Second to the motion.
We're going to vote. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris, to accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the revision of the board policy at EBCB safety drill issued on 197. These revisions according with the South Carolina Code and 59-17-160, the South Carolina Department of Education and South Carolina State Fire Marshal administer and review process of schools, district fire and safety policy. All in favor, show by raising the right hand. That would be 6-0. Thank you. Stan, we'll hear from finance and operations.
Good evening. The first item on the operations and finance is the June 2023 finance report. As you're well aware, our fiscal year ends in June, and in spite of that, this is not the final report. This is just a preliminary report for June. It took us a couple of months to do final entries. We still have bills that we're receiving that we need to pay that really apply to last year, and so probably sometime in September before we'll have a final number. But right now things look pretty good for the year as so. This is presented for your information. And the second item that we have this evening is 2023 general obligation bond resolution. And the superintendent recommends the approval of a general obligation bond resolution that authorizes the district to borrow an amount not to exceed $2.5 million to fund capital projects. And as Dr. Green has mentioned, we have this amount of money that we use to fund various projects, the HVAC units, technology, security cameras, various other facilities needs that we have throughout the district. This would not result in an increase, so we keep our operational debt millage the same as it has been throughout the past few years, which is 20.6 mils. And every year when we borrow the money, we receive it around September, but we always pay that amount off in the early spring. So this is presented for your consideration.
Can we get a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve general obligation bond resolution that authorizes the district to borrow an amount not to exceed $2.5 million.
Second to the motion.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Motion was made, accept the superintendent's recommendation to approval of the general obligation bond resolution that authorizes the district to borrow an amount not to exceed $2.5 million to fund capital projects. All in favor, show by raising the right hand. That would be 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. HR, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. This evening, under Human Resources, item 1, the superintendent recommends the board approve certified educator resignations and terminations. This is presented in Exhibit 1.
Can we get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve certified resignation termination, Exhibit 1.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Pastor Jackson, to accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the certified resignation termination, Exhibit 1, all in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. The 6-0. Yeah.
Next item, the superintendent recommends the board approve certified educators for the 2023-24 academic year. This recommendation is presented in Exhibits 2A and 2B.
Can we get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve certified educators for the 23-24 academic year.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Pastor Jackson, accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the certified education for 2023-24 academic school year, exhibit 2A and exhibit 2B. All in favor, show by raising of the right hand. That would be 6.
And lastly, under item 3, the superintendent recommends the board approve second and final reading for the new paid parental leave policy, GCCAC/GDCC. This information was presented for first reading at the June regular call board meeting. Option A was selected as the option to be included in the final policy. In board docs, that information was updated, and for clarity, a hard copy was provided to you this evening so that you could see the updates that were made since the June meeting.
Can we get a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve second and final reading for the new paid parental leave policy, GCCAC-GDCC, Exhibit 3.
Yes.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Pastor Jackson. Any questions? Accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the board second and final reading of the new paid parental leave policy, GCCAC-GDCC, all in accordance, show by raising your hand. That would be 6-0. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
I just want to say that we had a lot going on. It's great news. I was talking about seeing the dirt move. I tell you, that was you probably got me got tired of me asking every week. I mean, we're gonna move this dirt. I know I was aggravated. I ain't gonna tell you those dirt. We're gonna move this dirt, man. And to see it move, it means a whole lot, because there's a lot of people that was really, wanting this project to make it happen, especially for our teachers, our employees, classified also, and for the, as I say, the first responders. They would get a chance to be able to move in. So it's great news for Fairfield County, as it was stated early, great intergovernmental meeting on last night, just talked about working together, and that's what it's all about. The school board is willing to work with everyone, and things came up, different things, so it was great. Just wanted to add to it, and my board members who won't have anything to say.
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
This past Saturday, I did host my, back to school bash,
Yes, you did.
which was a success again. And, I got people reached out to me, Councilman Derek Pugh, sent some stuff over across the county to give our kids, and now I'm in a challenge with him. I got to help Richland County now to get some supplies to them, but I appreciate everybody that donated, and I'm still getting donations in, so I'm telling people you can come by the shop and get the extra stuff, because I have no place to put it. But, I know we gave out, around 150 book bags. I was able to meet a young lady that will be starting eager in the 6th grade. She's excited about coming to our school district. And I was happy to talk to her parents. And also my little 3-year-old will be starting eager. So I'm excited about that, going to school. And I'm glad that graduation got changed, because my grandson will be graduating Friday morning at 8 o'clock. So I was like, I got my babies from Fairfield, but I got my grandson from Reggie. So I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. I get to go to both.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
the Zion Hill Prevention Save the Children's 28th annual back to school bash is scheduled for Saturday.
okay.
It's gonna be held at the old Fairfield High School alumni building. This year we will have live music, DJ Bubba Cole. We're gonna have hot rod ice cream. The wife and I are gonna have a giveaway, a drawing for a special giveaway. And it's gonna feature also South Carolina Youth at Risk. There will be prizes, refreshments, school supplies, bicycles, and more. So we're inviting everyone to come out, and the time is going to be Saturday from 3 to 6. And we're setting up prayers that the storm passes over, that it be diverted to a different way. This is a special event that Ms. Armstrong does every year, and she continued after the transition of her mother.
Right.
So we want to support her, and we honor her and celebrate her, because she's been through some challenges. So we want to make sure we come out and support the children, not just of Zion Hill, but it's open to anybody that will come. So we're looking forward to see everyone on Saturday between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m. Thank you, sir.
Now, someone had told me something about, thank you so much, Dr. Harris, that Shade Rose having something on that same day.
No, Shady Grove thing is the last weekend of the month.
Okay.
But it is another back to school bash, the same, it's not the same time, I think it's at 1. It's at Fat Man Barber Shop, I forget the address, but it's on Main Street. So that one is, I think, from 1 to 3, and then y'all's from 3 to 6.
Let's come out and support, let's say Zion Hill, as well as any our back to school bashes. So this time, can I get a motion?
Mr. Miller, before we one final announcement, I apologize, I forgot to make. Convocation will be July 28th at 10 o'clock in Fairfield Central High School Gymnasium. We're looking forward to seeing board members if you're able to attend, and any additional guests. 10 o'clock Fairfield Central High School Gymnasium, July 28th. And also, I'll be remiss if I didn't recognize our girls basketball coach, Coach Gordon. She is being inducted into the USC Letterman Hall of Fame. And so, if you did not know it, Ms. Gordon was a decorated basketball player at the University of South Carolina and in the WNBA. And so she is being honored into the Letterman Hall of Fame. So we congratulate and recognize her for that outstanding achievement as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great. Thank you. Good enough, good enough. Go ahead.
And we got a lot of kids that are getting ready to leave to go off to college. So just keep all of them in your prayers, encourage them. I've been talking to several of them. I'm trying to keep them encouraged. I tell them my phone is always on and they can always call me, but this is a big transition from them from high school to college.
Can we get a motion
I make a motion with adjourn.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison, second by Dr. Harris, to adjourn. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. That'll be 6-0. Meeting adjourned. Very good.
Not agree about it, you know.
Yeah, it is.
I'm on the phone. You've been walking me in here, and I've been walking. Yeah, Mary told me in here, Mary told me. Yeah. Yeah, because Mary told me they stay in church about 30 minutes. Somebody.
You know,
Yeah.